Good morning, everyone. Thank you for checking out your weather update here for Missouri. Overall, most of us waking up to a sunny and dry and very warm start to the day. We do have heat advisories to our western counties here over the next few days. We're still seeing this upper level system bringing in some storms over the extreme southern tip of the state this morning there around Doniphan down there. And then as you head down towards parts of northeast Arkansas. But this system is going to slowly kind of pull its way away from the area today, so that chance of isolated storms in the south will start to diminish the next couple of days. Really, the one caveat in the forecast we're watching is our forecast going into tonight. Definitely a lower confidence forecast, as the big question is it going to storm? I think there can be some scattered storms, especially across the northern and west central, perhaps portions of the state here, as we go into the overnight hours tonight and into the morning hours tomorrow. So we'll discuss the details on that. Now, that's really the only storm risk in the forecast through the weekend, because once we get past tomorrow morning, we're looking to be really just sunny and dry, and that continues through early next week. So we'll discuss the details on that here. I wish the confidence in the forecast was higher, because we do have different model solutions here. Looking at the current weather this morning, as far as our weather alerts, there's a heat advisory across the western counties here, Kansas City to Maryville. Heat index values could be around 105 degrees the next 3 days, so make sure you're just staying hydrated. This is still pretty much, normal summer stuff, but definitely something we have not seen so far this year. And you can see on the radar this morning, there's that, first off, a cluster of storms up in Iowa. This will pretty much fade away this morning as it tries to dive south, and then there's going to be a little boundary left over that can spark some new storms to our north, and then later tonight, those will try to make an aim towards portions of the state. The further north you are, the better your chance will be to see that potential. So, looking at rainfall the past 24 hours, it was very hit and miss. Obviously, pretty much all of us stayed dry as we expected. We still had some pockets of an inch of rain yesterday out there just southwest of Cape Girardeau. Looking at our forecast as we go through the day today here. Again, I'm going to take you through this morning through the afternoon. There's that cluster of storms in Iowa working through this morning. You can see how it's going to eventually fade. It looks like the low-level jet, the winds at about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere, are going to weaken. It's going to limit the strengthening of these storms, so they should kind of fade before they get here. And you can see the day today is really just a sunny, hot, dry day. That's the theme today, guys. It's tonight that I have those forecast uncertainties here. So it looks like this evening we are going to see some additional storm activity develop to our north. And there's still some question marks how far west that will be, but certainly across northern Illinois, through parts of central Iowa here, eastern Iowa. And the thinking is that as we go into tonight, these will start to kind of work their way southward, and they could even try to track a little bit westward here, and I'll explain why here in just a second. But we do have potential after midnight tonight especially. I'm thinking more like the pre-dawn hours tomorrow into about maybe 8, 9 o'clock or so tomorrow morning. We need to watch areas up to the north to get clipped with some shower and storm activity. This is the forecast idea by the time we get to about 1 tomorrow morning here, showing potential for the the north and east portion of the state from Cahokia over towards Unionville, perhaps. And then as we go towards about 3, 4, 5 a.m., starts to work in further south towards Chillicothe here, over towards Bethany, Gallatin. So we'll keep an eye on this. Every model that we have is different in the exact placement, but we can get at least a general theme of ideas here. The cluster kind of works south and west, perhaps towards Kansas City, before fading as we go through the morning hours tomorrow. And there could be just a little bit of energy left over through the day tomorrow to keep some additional clouds and a couple isolated storms in the central and southwest part of the area. But I think through the day tomorrow we're trending mainly dry. So we look at the overall setup here. One thing I'm looking at is just the measure of instability. Now, just because you have a lot of instability does not mean you're going to get storms. What we are looking for is the gradient in the instability, where the instability goes from being extremely high versus where the instability is lower. So as we go through the night, I'm going to watch the area here where that gradient is sharpest. And you can see here, the model's actually showing the storm cluster right here because that's on the edge of that energy gradient, and it kind of will cut its way like this on the edge of that energy gradient here from Chillicothe, Missouri here over towards Kansas City. And I think that's perhaps not a bad solution. So we can kind of get an idea that it would probably be this area right in here with that risk overnight tonight. Further south and east, the lower your risk is going to be. In fact, I don't have any risk for St. Louis or Poplar Bluff or areas like Rolla to areas further south here. I just don't think you're going to be hit down there. So we look at the total rainfall from at least a solution that we're somewhat favoring this morning. It definitely hits more in the north, and I like this because it shows more to the north and less to the southwest. I think if it's going to be strongest, it'll be Hannibal to areas up here towards Chillicothe, and I think as you go further southwest, we'll start that diminishing trend. So not a ton of places will see heavy rain, but there could be localized pockets tonight that get a quick, inch of rain possibly half inch at least over parts of the north and northeast part of the state. So that's our thinking now. I don't mind the solution, but the forecast confidence is not where I would like it to be because the models were struggling this morning. So we'll keep you updated. But regardless, again, that's really the only risk in the forecast for the weekend. Otherwise, it is going to be the heat, the big story. Temperatures the next several days. As you can see today, tomorrow, and the Sunday here, temperatures. Tomorrow could be a little bit cooler. I think today we're hit the 90s here, the central and western half of the state. And then tomorrow with that cloud cover a little bit more prevalent, we could stay in the upper 80s tomorrow. Still hot. And then Sunday we're back, I think, to around 90 degrees. Looking at the heat index, though, that's going to be a bigger story through the weekend. As the heat index values today, I'm really watching areas like Kansas City out there. Could be seeing those heat index values getting way up there over 100. In fact, looking at the forecast this afternoon, showing some values of 105 to 109 across the western portion of the state, which is why we have a heat advisory in place. And as we go into tomorrow, not quite as high. And then Sunday, it looks like the humidity may be a touch lower, but it still looks like we're going to see heat index values here in the upper 90s to near 100. So regardless, a very hot weekend on the way. And the good thing is, once we get this silly disturbance out of here tomorrow morning, we're generally looking dry. I mentioned there could be still a spotty threat through the afternoon, but by tomorrow night, we're done. As we go into Sunday, I have absolutely no storm chance. We are going to be high and dry. I can't always rule out a stray pop-up, mainly in the far south, but otherwise we are looking in good shape here through most of the weekend. Sunday, and as we go into Monday here, maybe a stray pop-up. I still think Monday we're still in this dry pattern. I think Tuesday we slowly increase that chance for a couple scattered storms. I really don't think it's going to be more widespread until we get to the later portions of next week. So we'll start Wednesday and onward with that better chance of a little more numerous activity. Initially along the north of I-70, and I think that's where we're going to see the highest totals for the next 7 days. Further south, you will definitely see lower totals, but as we go forward into the pattern going through the following week, I think we're all going to be getting on some wetter conditions, unfortunately, across the state. So here's a look at the rainfall the next 7 days. Gives you a general idea here that the heaviest, more active pattern is going to be just north of us, but we could see about a quarter to 3/4 over the next 7 days. Drew up some maps for you here. Just looking at the next week, you can see the general heavier storm track is going to be north of us, thanks to that high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But as we go into week 2, I think we get back to a more active pattern across the state, especially the further north you are. But regardless, we are looking at really a pretty active forecast going into the second week here of first full week of July, of course, going into next week. And as we go throughout the rest of July, we updated our weeks 3 and 4 and July outlook this morning. So I definitely recommend you checking out your long-range forecast. That should be in your email this morning. Again, in the short term, we're going to target the best chance to see a storm tonight in the northern part of the state. Lower chances as you go further south and west. So it's not a guarantee. We'll keep you updated with an update this afternoon. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.